Does Elemental suck? Now, I'll be honest, guys, when I saw the trailer for this movie, I wasn't too excited about it because it looked like Inside Out scraps, and it looked like just more of the same, and I love Pixar. That's why I gave this movie a shot in the first place, but in terms of my overall excitement level, it wasn't there. But how did the movie deliver? Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic. Thank you guys for being with me today. I really do appreciate it. I was able to see Elemental a few days early. I'm here to give you my honest thoughts, no spoilers, and tell you if it sucks or not. But let me know, guys, are you guys big fans of Disney, big fans of Pixar? Have you guys been looking forward to Elemental? If you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Let's be respectful, but let's get a discussion going. And make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video so you guys know my rating of the film, or else you might be going to a film that might not be right for you. Now, the director is Peter Sohn. Now, I find this really funny because I did a short, an out of the theater reaction, if you will, and I said that this movie falls into the good dinosaur category of Pixar movies as opposed to the Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Incredibles category. What I meant by that was this movie is not in the upper echelon of Pixar films. Peter Sohn has directed The Good Dinosaur. I didn't even know that when I made that short, and it's fitting. And it stars Leah Lewis, Mamoudou Athie, and Ronnie del Carmen. And the story is we have Elemental City. We have air, earth, water, and fire all living together in this New York City of elements. But of course, fire, they do not have the same respect as the other elements. They are the oppressed group. But our main family, Bernie, Cinder, and Ember, you get it, they set up a shop in Firetown called the Fireplace, basically like a convenience store. But there's problems with the water inspection, the pipes, if you will. So Ember has to team up with the city inspector named Wade. He is made out of water, and they have to fix the shop, and maybe they fall in love along the way. I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that. Look at the trailer, you know what kind of movie this is. So what did I think of this movie? Well, like I said earlier, this is not the best Pixar movie out there. And even when Pixar is not at its best, it's still a lot better than a lot of other animation movies out there. Now, I understand that DreamWorks and Sony have been doing this whole Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots, bad guys type of animation, and it's been really new and fresh. This, you know, does feel like classic Pixar, but again, let's get into it. So Pixar always has these really clever premises, and yeah, all the elements, air, water, fire, and earth are all living in this great big city. Now, of course, all the fire people have their own little quirks. When they get angry, they start to heat up. The water people, they cry a lot because, of course, they're made out of water, so their tears are like doing the cartoon, like, "Ah!" Air, when they get hot-headed, you know, their clouds turn a bit gray, there's a bit of thunderstorms. Earth, of course, you know, when they're growing up, they got little flowers growing out of them, right? Like, it's all clever stuff, but what I liked about it is that it felt very Irish immigrants in New York City in the 17 and 1800s. Because think about it, you have this city full of all these diverse people, but of course, when this new group of people come in, you know, no fire allowed, and everyone, you know, thinks of them as just a nuisance and a burden, and there's a lot of prejudice there. There's even a joke where one of the shirts says, "Kiss me, I'm Fire-ish," which of course, I mean, it's right there. And of course, they set up their little fire town, which reminds me of like Chinatown in almost every big American and Canadian city. Vancouver, of course, has one too, where you have all the different shops and all the different people are of that same group. But of course, they don't live in the high end of downtown. They live in the kind of smaller, maybe not as well off area of town. So I like the world that this movie creates. And again, like I said, Pixar is very good at being clever. However, sometimes that just dissolves into bad puns. Like if you even watch the trailer, like, oh, Earth can be a bit seedy, and sometimes air has their head in the clouds, and it's like, well, okay, it's not that clever. I'm sure that any one of us could think of those puns. But overall, I like the world that this movie creates, and I also like our characters and the chemistry between them. Ember is our main character. She's the daughter of Bernie and Cinder, and of course, she's going to take over the shop one day. But of course, it's that classic Pixar theme and message of going your own path and not necessarily doing exactly what your parents want you to do. Your parents want you to take over the shop, but what if you don't want to do that? And of course, she's fiery. She has a temper. Of course, she's fire. But she starts to form a relationship with Wade, who is water, and he is very emotional, of course. And that's the whole dynamic, right? Opposites attract. And of course, like, I knew that this was gonna happen right before the movie even started. The prejudice. Fire can't be with water. They don't mix. The elements don't mesh together. Of course, this is West Side Story. This is Romeo and Juliet. The Montague and the Capulets, they can't be together. And of course, it does deal with prejudice and racism and stereotyping. You know, these groups cannot mesh together. Even Ember's father, Bernie, water, get out of my store, water. But of course, you see throughout the movie, opposites attract. And of course, there's like, no, we can't be together. I'm fire, you're water. You know where this is going. But I do like the characters. They have good chemistry together, and it is a good message, even though we've seen it in everything. So that's all fine and dandy, right? Nothing really wrong with the movie at this point, and I'll be honest guys, this is not a bad movie. I'm just kind of low on it because of course we have Toy Story and Finding Nemo and The Incredibles and Ratatouille and Up, and by the way guys, the short film before this movie, I saw it with two people and they were both just bawling their eyes out. I thought it was very cute as well. I didn't necessarily, pull out the tissues, but very, very good. But I digress. The main problem that I have with this movie is that the story is boring. I went to the bathroom for like 2 minutes during this movie, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'm actually not that eager to go back. I wasn't running down the hallway, you know what I mean? Because like the main plot of this movie is that they have to fix water pipes. How exciting! And just the actual pacing and the plotting of events feels very kind of blah, thrown together. They know what they're trying to do. They're trying to tell this story with the themes of opposites attracting and prejudice and racism, and like you understand what they are actually wanting to tell with this movie. The plot is kind of an afterthought, going, okay, well I guess they'll go here now, and I guess, we'll go here now, and it feels very thrown together. And I was not necessarily bored because I like the characters, but I'm thinking, you know what, like this is really lacking that energy, that spunk, that magic. Yes, there are those Pixar tearjerker moments, those really heartfelt moments, but I don't want to say that they were forced because the message is in the right place and I like the characters, but with the plotting and the pacing and the overall story, it wasn't there. And when you're watching a movie and you're going, okay, I'm liking it, but I feel like I should like it more, that's a problem. And sometimes that's a hard thing to put your finger on. But I felt like that during this movie. I went to one of my friends, I'm like, what do you think so far? And he goes, I like it, I guess. I think, you know what I mean? When you're in that category where you're like, well, everything is working on screen. Like there's nothing that's really bad about it, right? Like the plot is, it's fine. It's not like a, what? This makes no sense. It's just kind of, yeah, okay. And those are the hardest stories to really break down and talk about in a review. If it's amazing, you can go, oh my god guys, the story and the pacing was just incredible, and you can really kind of gush about it. Or if it was boring, you can get really angry about it and talk about how, nothing makes sense and how slow it was. But this was just kind of that middle ground, and that's all I can really say about it. It was that middle ground, that really severely underwhelming plot and story. Very uninteresting. But overall though, the movie's cute. And like I said earlier, does it suck? Maybe when you compare it to those movies like Toy Story and Incredibles, Finding Nemo, you know the list. So there are far better movies out there, especially in Pixar. But there are also far more worse movies out there for you, your family, your kids to watch. So yeah, I'm gonna give this movie a 3 out of 5 because I did like it, but I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again, and it's not a glowing recommendation. This is more because it's the film school report card. Yep, B+, 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 C- for the story and the pacing. But overall, it's a solid movie. Nothing completely wrong with it. There's nothing I can really point to and go, that was terrible, but it's not a movie that I'll be watching again. So that's my honest answer. So there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts on Elemental. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. And if you want to support me even further, then Patreon is down below. We do monthly watch-alongs. I give you guys movies every single month, and you guys get to see content early. So if that interests you and joining a really exclusive group, a tight-knit family, then Patreon is down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.